អូខេសួស្តីអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាសុខសប្បាយជាទេអូខេណាអញ្ចឹង3 part ណា3ផ្នែករួចជាស្រេចហើយដែលយើងបាននិយាយគ្នាដែលខ្ញុំបានអានរឿង question ឲ្យគ្នាយើងស្ដាប់ណាអូខេអញ្ចឹងតើគ្នាយើងបានយល់ប្រមាណភាគរយហើយណានៅក្នុងរឿងនេះណាអញ្ចឹងគឺយើងបាន3ណា3ផ្នែករួចជាស្រេចហើយ3 episodes already អញ្ចឹងឥឡូវនេះយើងចូលក្នុងវីដេអូនេះយើងនឹងនិយាយគ្នាបន្តចូលទៅក្នុង the fourth episode ណាគឺភាគទី4នៃរឿង question ទាំងអស់គ្នាណាអូខេដូចដដែលគឺខ្ញុំនឹងអានឲ្យគ្នាយើងស្ដាប់ទាំងអស់គ្នាណាហើយខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថាគ្នាយើងនឹងបន្តការអានណាព្យាយាមអានក៏ដូចជាព្យាយាមប្រណោនពាក្យណាឲ្យបានល្អកាន់តែប្រណោនកាន់តែច្រើនយើងការ pronunciation របស់យើងក៏កាន់តែល្អដូចគ្នាដែរណាអូខេតោះអញ្ចឹងយើងចូលដល់អំណានរបស់យើងតែម្ដងណា episode 4 the question. Finally, he succeeded in making an opening under the sheet, and he took the rubber tube and inserted one end of it in the opening so that it would slide under the sheet along the mattress towards Harry's body. I do not know how long it took him to slide that tube in a few inches. It may have been 20 minutes. It may have been 40. I never once saw the tube move. I knew it was going in because the visible part of it grew gradually shorter. But I doubted that the crate could have failed even the faintest vibration. Ganderby himself was sweating now. Large pools of sweat standing out over his forehead and along his upper lip. But his hands were steady, and I noticed that his eyes were watching not the tube in his hands, but the area of crumpled sheet above Harry's stomach. Without looking up, he held out a hand to me for the chloroform. I twisted out the ground glass stopper and put the bottle right into his hand, not letting go till I was sure he had a good hold on it. Then he jerked his head for me to come closer, and he whispered, "Tell him I'm going to soak the mattress, and that it will be very cool under his body. He must be ready for that, and he must not move. Tell him now." I bent over Harry and passed on the message. "Why doesn't he get on with it?" Harry said. "He's going now. Hurry." But it all feel very cold, so be ready for it. Oh God Almighty, get on, get on. For the first time he raised his voice, and Ganderby glanced up sharply, watched him for a few seconds, then went back to his business. Ganderby poured a few drops of chloroform into the paper funnel and waited while it rained down the tube. Then he poured some more. Then he waited again, and the heavy, sickening smell of chloroform spread out over the room, bringing with it faint, unpleasant memories of white-coated nurses and white surgeons standing in a white room around a long white table. Gandabai was pouring pouring steadily now, and I could see the heavy vapor of the chloroform swirling slowly like smoke above the paper funnel. He held the bottle up to the right, poured one more funnel full, and handed the bottle back to me. Slowly, he drew out the rubber tube from under the sheet. Then he stood up. The strain of inserting the tube and pouring the chloroform must have been great, and I recollect that when Gandabai turned and whispered to me, his voice was small and tired. "We'll give it 15 minutes just to be safe." I leaned over to tell Harry, "We're going to give it 15 minutes just to be safe, but it's probably done for already." "Then why, for God's sake, don't you look and see?" Again he spoke loudly, and Gandabai sprang around, his small brown face suddenly very angry. He had almost pure black eyes, and he stared at Harry, and Harry's smiling muscles started to twitch. I took my handkerchief and wiped his wet face, trying to stroke his forehead a little for comfort as I did so. Then we stood and waited beside the bed, Gandabai watching Harry's face all the time in a curious, intent manner. The little Indian was concentrating all his willpower on keeping Harry quiet. He never once took his eyes from the patient, and although he made no sound, he seemed somehow to be shouting at him all the time, saying, "No, now listen. You got to listen. You're not going to spoil this now. You hear me?" And Harry lay there, twitching his mouth, sweating, closing his eyes, opening them, looking at me, at the sheet, at the ceiling, at me again, but never at Gandabai. Yet somehow Gandabai was holding him. The smell of chloroform was oppressive, and it made me feel sick. but I couldn't leave the room now. I had the feeling someone was blowing up a huge balloon, and I could see it was going to burst, but I couldn't look away. At length, Gandabai turned and nodded, and I know he was ready to proceed. You go over to the other side of the bed, he said. He will each take one side of the sheet and drew it back together, but very slowly, please, and very quickly. Keep it still now. Hurry, I said, and I went round to the other side of the bed and took hold of the sheet. Gandabai stood opposite me, and together we began to draw back the sheet, lifting it up clear of Harry's body, taking it back very slowly, both of us standing well away, but at the same time bending forward, trying to peer underneath it. The smell of chloroform was awful. I remember trying to hold my breath, and when I couldn't do that any longer, I tried to breathe, swallow to the stuff wouldn't get into my lungs. The whole of Harry's chest was visible now, or rather the striped pyjama top above. A little farther and I saw a bottom, a mother of pearl button, and that was something I had never had on my pyjamas, a fly button, let alone a mother of pearl ones. This Harry, I thought, he is very refined. It is odd how one sometimes has frivolous thoughts that at exciting at exciting moments, and I distinctly remember thinking. Okay, thank you for your listening. អូខេអញ្ចឹងសម្រាប់ការអានរបស់ខ្ញុំគឺបញ្ចប់ត្រឹមនេះហើយណាអូខេជួបគ្នានៅក្នុងអំណានក្រោយទៀតណា See you in next video